The Boston Bruins finally got around to firing head coach Claude Julien this week, deciding to make the move on the same day the New England Patriots were holding their Super Bowl parade. Classy move, eh? The Bruins, and especially team president Cam Neely, have seemed to want to fire Julien going back to the 2010-11 season, before the coach ruined those plans by actually winning the Stanley Cup. Almost 6 years later, and in danger of missing the playoffs for the third straight year, Neely and the Bruins decided it was time to get rid of Julien and replace him on an interim basis with assistant coach Bruce Cassidy. Julien isn't the biggest reason the Bruins weren't winning. Bad trades are. The last 2 times Julien was fired, it didn't work out so well for the teams that got rid of him. The Canadiens had a 19-16-6 record during the 2005-06 season when GM Bob Gainey decided to fire Julien and go behind the bench himself. The Canadiens went 23-15-3 under Gainey and then lost in the first round of the playoffs. The Canadiens were also eliminated in the first round of the playoffs 3 years later after Gainey fired Guy Carbonneau as coach and went back behind the bench himself again. With 3 games remaining in the 2006-07 season, the New Jersey Devils fired Julien despite a 47-24-8 record, and GM Lou Lamoriello took over. The Devils lost in the second round of the playoffs. Legendary Montreal Gazette hockey writer Red Fisher used to have a great line when the heat was on a coach to be fired with his team struggling. "Show me the players," Red would say. Which brings me to current Canadiens coach Michel Therrien. The news of Julien's firing surely had some anti-Therrien fans hoping Julien will make a return behind the Canadiens bench soon. That won't happen, I don't think, for a couple of reasons. Therrien isn't going anywhere in the near future with a contract that runs through the 2018-19 season, and he has the full support of his GM. Another NHL team is probably going to grab Julien pretty quickly also. Therrien has a 193, 119, and 37 record in the last 5 seasons with the Canadiens, while Julien's record in Boston during that span was almost identical. But the Bruins could miss the playoffs for the 3rd straight year, while the Canadiens have only missed the playoffs once in 5 years under Therrien, and are almost certain to make it again this year. If I was a betting man, I'd say the Bruins will miss the playoffs after firing Julien. If the Canadiens are going to go fire in the playoffs this year, it's going to have more to do with what GM Marc Bergevin does before the NHL trade deadline than changing coaches. As Red Fisher would have said, "Show me the players."